Content warning before the video begins. Topics such as grooming, CP, sexual combos towards and involving minors are all going to be topics of today's video. If you are not old enough to talk about these kind of things, then this video is not for you, as it is intended for a mature audience. This document has been, as of right now, probably the most requested thing that I cover on this channel. I was very comprehensive and very thorough with my pressure documentation, and so I figured why not do the same here in the Dandy's World situation. For those that don't know, Quell, the owner of Dandy, I think the creator, one of the creators of Dandy's World, is being accused of quite some things, as well as Rock Serpent, which is the topic of today's video, which is the co-creator of Dandy's World and also a friend of Quell. Yeah, there's quite a bit I want to get into in today's video. I don't know anything about the situation. This is kind of my deep dive into the deep end here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this document. It's only 66 pages, so it's not too bad. Rock Serpent is the co-creator of Flavor Frenzy and Dandy's World, a former contributor to Tower Heroes and a former contributor to Data Brawl. He's gone by other aliases such as Homestuck Jake 413, Jakers, Traveling Moonrock, and Chill Faceless. This document is a more comprehensive recompilation of our original document, which can be viewed here, and is something I recommend you read. This document also serves to make people aware of Rox and to compile what he had done, things he directly admitted to, yet people in his community either forgave him or brushed it off as petty drama taken too far. All links in the document are being updated to re-uploads as Rox privated all of his videos. Here's the trigger warning, or the content warning. Please do not attack anyone mentioned here. That is not the purpose of this document, and doing such solves nothing. Chapter 1. Lies. Our involvement. Some time ago, Rox had approached one of us to apologize. Its timing, coming from out of the blue and days after they joined BP, censored for anonymity, made us think it was more so them being worried things may come out about them, or that we may get them banned from BP instead of it being genuine. This feeling was exacerbated after their video, where they claimed they'd been, quote-unquote, trying their best to apologize to those involved, when to us that's clearly not the case. At the time, we didn't do anything. But once we found out fully what he had done, we brought it up to a moderator, and it turns out a moderator in that community was his friend and leaked everything to him. This is what prompted Rox to create his response video, what caused us to create the document originally with his lies about our friend group, smearing us, trying to justify his actions, taking some blame off of him and shifting it to us, linked here. Something Rox completely neglected to mention is that the miner obviously did not have access to any NSFW channels. Not only was the person that suggested the ping warned, but Rox was the one who asked why they got the warning. Rox would have known why they were warned, but instead stripped it out of context and somehow had this screenshot ready to use in his defense. Images. Images on next page. Let's see here. Very stinky chat. NSFW channel. Redacted name. What are we paying blank? Minor who did not want to see pornographic content on this channel. Oh, she is too pure to ever check it out. So the ping will stay forever and ever and ever. Delightfully devilish. Say more. J Snake. Wait. Warning. I just noticed. What? At warning. You are. Wait. What? Okay. I just remembered there being a warning roll, and it was put onto me as a joke, I believe. But who's warning? Warned person. Oh, I don't like how these screenshots are formatted. I don't know. I'm reading it like you normally read like a comic book in English, where you just kind of go like from left to right. Hopefully I'm doing that right. Hold on. My question is, okay, so what is this? Oh, okay. This is a very short document. Okay. I'm going to stay here. This is a very comprehensive thing. I'm going to stay on this. I just wanted to check that. I was like, okay, am I missing context here? I'm not. Okay. Blue person says, oh, got unwarned, but didn't get to see the rest of the conversation. Guess I die. Server moderator. Basically, don't ping blank in NSFW servers, aka the miner. Chapter 2. Deceit. Probably saying that wrong. The first video. Rox's video is riddled with lies, tiptoeing around using specific words/phrases and cherry picking what was given to them, all to make the situation seem less severe than they really are. This section will dissect the discrepancies in both videos in order. Yeah, in order. Okay, I thought there was more. Sorry. Quote, accusations that have been making the rounds on a lot of servers and media I'm in. The video was in response to Rox's sexual interactions with a 13-year-old being brought to a single server, which had a moderator they were friends with in it. This is the only community that it was brought to, and it was kept private. This video was just to already have control of the narrative if the evidence did ever go public. Quote, at the time, me and Tom were in a lot of friend groups in that community, a lot of which included NSFW channels. This was addressed in Chapter 1 of the document, but this is also his only example of any NSFW channels in any of the servers. Rox only brought this up to redirect blame off himself to avoid taking full accountability of his actions. He also states, since my friends were doing it, it's okay for me to do it, which is weird when he's describing how he got a 15-year-old to send him nudes. Whoa, no one but him did that. How old is Rox? Okay. Now hold the fucking phone. Okay, how old is Rox? Okay, this is kind of the $1 million question that I haven't seen how old this guy is. Okay. Anyway, some of these things Buddy said were blown out of way. Some of the things Buddy said were way out of proportion. No, they weren't. Though that'd be a bit hard to tell. Rox only shared the bare minimum to make his point and not anything he himself said or any other statements from Buddy. Something I only just realized is I'm pretty sure Rox came up with the nickname Buddy from the screenshot that he left out in his video. Likely because what Buddy describes here in another screenshot is the definition of grooming. Okay, I can't see names here, but okay, This person says, I actually just looked back a bit through the DMs I had with him just to verify some info as I was writing. And yeah, it was bad. Honestly, even a bit worse than I remember. Frowny face. He was obsessed with you 100%, and I think he also projected it onto me, almost like so I could be his buddy and his obsession so that he wasn't alone in it. All of the whole thing, what he did now, how I reacted, it makes me feel so disgusting. And also disgusted by him. With Rox's cherry picking of what to show in his video, it should be fair to include all the screenshots here. Do read at your own discretion. Okay, let's see. I know they censored names. I wish they color coded this because I'm like going through this and I'm like, okay, short name, long name. Yeah, okay. The long name says, and I decided to look up Jake the one day, this was over a year ago, just to see what he was up to. You would not believe my surprise when I found out what he did. Short name. I'm unsure what to think about the whole situation. Long name. I think there's something you should know if you don't already, and I feel terrible for keeping it from you. Question mark. You know me and Jake used to talk a ton. Yes. Yeah. During that whole time, like on a daily basis, he talked about you in a way that I find really, really gross. Oh. And honestly, because of that, I wasn't too surprised when I found out what he did. Can you tell me anything he said, if you're comfortable with that, because I've been trying to figure out if I'm on his side. I'll say that before I also need to confess another thing. Take your time. Being 13 at the time and... Whoa. Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Now we have the fucking number. Oh, all right. I mean, ooh, yeah. I mean, 17 is, yeah. I mean, that's like, oh, that's a senior in high school talking to what is that? That's like an 8th grader. Yeah, it's fucking weird, yo. Okay. All right, being 13 at the time and him being 17, even though I honestly was taken aback by how he spoke about you, I really wasn't sure what to do. But also, there was this weird dynamic where I felt like he was in the position of status in the server and was almost an adult, so I kind of trusted his judgment all the time. And truthfully, I sometimes played along with his conversations just to try and, like, be cool with him. I blame it on my younger self for not being mature enough to realize the gravity of things, and I never, like, got to his level. I don't think with the shit he said, but regardless, I didn't. Wait. I'm sorry. My bad. Got to his level. I don't think with the shit he said, but regardless, I did kind of play along with his stuff. Even at the time, it felt wrong, but I just did it. And for that, I'm so genuinely sorry. Ooh, okay. I guess I should elaborate now. I honestly think that the kind of things he said about you were, one, gross, but two, honestly kind of weird for a 17-year-old to be telling a 13-year-old. Oh, it's a bunch of, okay. I'm really sorry for that. I'm going to spoiler, but no, don't be sorry. If anything, I think you're the bigger victim in this, even if you weren't aware. Basically, what I mean by him talking really grossly about you. I don't want to make you type it if you're not comfortable, by the way. That's all right. All right, if you're fine with it. Oh, God, okay. He would go pretty in depth about his sexual fantasies involving you, telling me that he imagined you in very compromising sexual situations with him. He was really kind of creepy and basically obsessive with how much he went into it. He would also talk a lot about, oh, he's so cute, but wait, oh, she's so cute, I bet she's so pretty, etc. But like not in a complimenting way, almost in an objectifying way, almost just treating you as a toy. God. This is weird. I will go ahead and say now these are claims being made via text, not by evidence. So I will definitely keep that in the back of my mind. However, okay. We'll keep it like that. These are just kind of being talked about. You know what I mean? Like, you're saying this happens, but you're not showing proof that things were said. I looked back through DMs. I hope you provide evidence and don't just keep talking about it. I actually just looked back through a bit of DMs I had with him just to verify some info as I was writing, and yeah, it was bad. Honestly, even a bit worse than I remember. Okay, why not show it? Frowny face. He was obsessed with you 100%, and I think he also projected it onto me, almost like so I could be his buddy in his obsession, so he wasn't alone in it. All of the whole thing, what he did, how I reacted, makes me feel so disgusting, and also disgusted by him. I really don't realize how bad it was at the time. A 17-year-old talking to a 13-year-old about his detailed sexual fantasies about their mutual friend. Only more recently did I realize that was really weird of him. And not just for content of his not just the content of his messages, but also who he was saying it to. Another thing, I think it's supposed to say thing. Another thing he did that honestly looking back was really gross given the context. I know I said before that I would play along with his combos and how it made me feel really gross, but he would like 100% encourage it when I did play along. Okay. Did he ever ask if you were comfortable at first? No. I'm honestly convinced he's probably actually a pedophile. Like, yeah, he was 17 at the time, but what's the difference between that and an 18-year-old? And he's doing it to someone only 13. Yeah. Another thing he talked about to me was this really weird. That was really weird. He'd always tell me when he masturbated. What? Yeah, I just remembered that's something he did. He would frequently bring up that topic, saying things like how he just got done doing that. I kind of implied this earlier, but he also often brought you into it. He'd like to talk about how he did it to the thought of you and such. And he almost encouraged that same behavior in me. It really was, yeah. I find it especially gross that he would say he knew you didn't find sexual stuff appealing at all and would immediately continue talking about his fantasies. It felt so violating. Like he didn't even care about you or how you would have felt. I feel like he only just saw you as an object of obsession. He even said that, and this is okay. Yes, he would literally say that he knew you were asexual and felt absolutely no sexual desire whatsoever and had no desire to engage in it in any form, and then he'd go right back to saying how he wanted you to suck his dick under the okay. And yes, this is actually okay. This is what he actually said to me, a 13-year-old. I mean, at the time, a 13-year-old. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. I will go ahead and say now that this is all claim without evidence. You I'm not saying that he like this is still weird stuff to talk about, but if you just said right here, I actually looked back through the DMs and then didn't provide kind of any evidence about this. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. Maybe there's evidence later down in the line. But so far we're just saying what dude said, not what dude has actually, like, showing that dude actually said this. Hold on, what page was I on? I just want to make sure I'm not losing my page. Page 8 out of, okay, 66. Hold on. I think it's, okay, I'm making sure here. Okay, I think Jake is Rocks, cool. And I think Jay Snake is also, okay. Buddy mentioned that the way I said these things, in quotation marks, what Rocks said, made things seem like I objectified Paige when that couldn't be further from the truth. This is a blatant lie. Of course you wouldn't know that because Rocks didn't show or mention that he said that, but thankfully we can. Do keep in mind while reading this that these messages were sent to Buddy, 13 years old, or about Paige, 15 years old, and Rocks was 17 at the time. Okay. 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 A 2-year age gap. That's not talking about it. That's not what I'm not defending him talking about it at all. Right? That's weird. You shouldn't be objectifying fucking anybody. That's gross. But if we're calling pedophilia a 2-year age gap, I mean 17 and 15, that's a weird murky gray area. This talking to a 13-year-old, yeah, that's okay. Now that's like, whoa, you know what I mean? But okay, that I mean, I was over here thinking Rocks was like in his like early 20s. Oh, these screenshots are from 2020. Okay, Jay Snake. So I was about to ask you how many times. Are these the screenshots? Okay, never mind. I take everything back that I just said. That these were all given, but without proper documentation. Yep. All right. Never mind. Yeah, this is fucking weird, Rocks. I can't even lie. Directed at a 13-year-old is pretty fucking crazy. Anyway, oh Jesus Christ, Jay Snake. Okay, so I'm gonna go take my shower and jerk the me. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, sure, dude. Yeah, let's talk about that shit. That's anyway, Jay Snake. I jerk off to more things than just person, Okay, let me guess. Ew, man. When I imagine funny, I imagine her under my desk. Die? What? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. I want the Data Brawl community both out of guilt of what happened because I stopped enjoying being in the community. This is a lie. Rocks didn't leave Data Brawl out of guilt. He left because of something he left out of his video. The actual catalyst he seemed to conveniently not mention. Before Rocks was in a relationship with Tom. Okay. Yeah. There was someone else we'll call Anon. Rocks had feelings for Anon, but Anon did not feel the same way about Rocks. Sometime later, Anon began dating another person, which Rocks took great offense to. Rocks took this opportunity to vilify and treat Anon like shit while victimizing himself. Okay, to think that I liked you only for you to hint that you don't like me at all. I should have known better anyway. It's apparent you didn't like me. That's fine, but you should have told the truth from the start rather than letting me figure it out myself. But that's fine. Go hang out with your little blank name of person and anonymous dating friend. I won't mind at all. All right, I get it, Anon. We get it. Okay, you like redacted person. Fantastic. This info being brought up in our friend group was the catalyst for the other friend group Rox was in to share the myriad of garbage he had put them through, including what happened to Tom and treating a ton of their friends like shit. Private stuff, just know Rox treated a handful of people not mentioned here horribly. When Rox was comforted about how he left Data Brawl, it was not out of guilt of what happened, but rather the guilt of being caught. Oh, okay. The next line fucking threw me off guard. What do you mean there's a fucking YouTube link to this? Sorry. That I was anyway. Rox did try to come back sometime later, but he left after realizing nobody there trusted him anymore. The next bullet point is Rox drawing CP. What is this YouTube video?
Studio. And this is where I discuss the accusation of NSFW art.
Oh, okay. It's this video that got re-uploaded. Cool. All right. I was like, what is this? I was like, no. I was like, okay, hold on. Wait a second. Anyway, this isn't something we can really speak that much on as it involves a friend group we are not affiliated with in any way. But Rox did not share the screenshot showing him admitting to drawing CP. Thankfully, we can. It's odd Rox feigns ignorance to where any accusation of pedophilia comes from when the video was shared to his friend and likely Rox as well since he addressed it in his video. They like to mention Rox was 17 when everything happened, but completely ignored that Rox was 18 for some of the CP and 4 days from 18 and the image below. Jakers, listen. Jakers, listen, you can act like you weren't the inspiration for this drawing. Most of them were boredom drawings anyway, Lamau, and only because they were essentially prompted. If it really is such a big deal as you make it out to be, I just won't draw it again. Jakers, okay, nerd. Oh, God. I've just had too much experience with bitches leaking my shit to get back at me somehow. Maybe I'm just scared. Someone could really take that CP thing way out of context, and it would be the fucking end for me again. Oh, okay. What the fuck? Acting like you didn't draw CP. What? I'm sorry. Why? Why would in good conscience would you ever draw this? Why? What goes through your head to want to draw this? Hey, I drew something for you, buddy. Oh, what'd you draw? Okay. Jesus Christ. Quote, ever since early of last year, I've been trying my best to reach out to those involved. No, he hasn't. Rox's 2 apologies were 4 months apart, as mentioned in Chapter 1. Rox's apology to us only came after he joined the BP community. The response video. After the first document was made, Rox created a response video that too is filled with lies. Unlike his first video, Rox didn't and still hasn't to this day shared the response video to his community, probably because it would expose them to a narrative he has no control over. You can tell he never shared it from the big gap in views between both videos. Similar to the previous section, this will also dissect the discrepancies in order. Quote, everything I received was shown in the video. This is a blatant lie. Rox's original response only shared 2 screenshots between Paige and Buddy. While you can clearly see several more that weren't ever shown, another reason this likely isn't true is because Rox's nickname for the 13-year-old being Buddy. As mentioned in Chapter 2, it likely came from another screenshot from here that was never present in the original video. You can only see 2 images shown here. Another damning thing about Rox's statement here is that if he really wasn't shown all the screenshots, that means when he said that couldn't be further from the truth when talking about Buddy and accusing them of lying, saying it wasn't that severe. Rox literally did not know what he was talking about. Rox blindly twisted the truth to make himself seem better and didn't have the evidence to back his side. Either he lied knowingly or didn't care enough to simply ask their friend for the screenshots before making his video. Okay. Rocks, question mark. Friend who's in contact with mod. I can't even, I'm not going to zoom in and read. Oh, I think this is all the, okay, this is all the screenshots that I just went over. Friend who's in contact with a mod. I'll send you everything. Did I send you more? Because it's a shit ton of images. Did that actually happen? Send. Oh. The moderator shadow banned me from the server, and they said did hear me out when that's not true. This claim is extremely dumb, because Rox debunked it himself immediately after saying it. The moderators did hear him out, as he said he was telephoning through his friend about the situation, and you can clearly see Rox's friend speaking for him in the screenshots he provided. Yes, they did not talk to him directly, but saying they didn't hear him out is a blatant lie. Staff member is the green. Let's see. Are they all staff members? Oh, it's friends. I don't know who this blue person. I think that's Paige. I think. I don't know. That's been my argument. I've seen accounts of people apologizing for predatory acts only to continue them undercover. Especially since I've seen the whole change thing before, and like 99% of the time they ain't changed all at staff member. Yeah, I couldn't believe them if they did some shit like that. Friend, looks like I can't do much anymore, but can you guys at least hear them out? I've only been talking on his behalf. I'm not him after all. My ass is literally flattened into a wall trying to prove he's changed. Staff member, like I said, or added the staff member, like I said, your server, your rules. I won't go against what you decide anymore, but please at least hear them out. We did hear them out. We did. The moderator said I couldn't change. They never said that. You can see in the screenshot that's not true. The moderators said given what you've done, they cannot trust you've changed. And even if you did, they don't want to risk it and keep you in their community. Quote, at the end of the document, the people that created it claimed I have not changed from the events of the situation. The document never once says Rox didn't change. What he's likely referencing is a line in the document that's directly quoting him in his first video here, talking about his translation from Data Brawl to Tower Heroes. Hold on, I want to just look at this. Oh wait, it's a...
At this time, I had not changed much from the person I was from 2020, so I was still open to the idea of drawing NSFW content, and that's pretty much how me and them bonded. They had...
Okay. The intention of that line, yeah, I already read that. As mentioned before, he did not leave Data Brawl out of guilt, and him saying he didn't change much only serves to justify his actions later on. Feels like he only brought this up so he can go on a tangent about how much he's changed. Chapter 3, The Truth. Now that all that's out of the way, here is a rewrite of the timeline Rox presented in his first video with what actually happened in the order it happened, and include info that was left out or just flat out wrong. All right, 2019, Rox joins Data Brawl. 2020, Rox created the Box Battle Data Brawl Plus server. Rox becomes a contributor. Anon began dating someone else, and Rox constantly vilify and treat Anon like shit. Rox becomes a moderator. Okay, that's in March. Then we get to May. Rox would interact sexually with Buddy, 13 years old, mostly about Paige, 15 years old. In August, Rox and Tom get into a relationship. In September, Rox and Tom get into a video call, and Rox gets Tom to send them nudes. September, less than 2 weeks later, Rox dumps Tom for Paige. Day later, Rox would be confronted with what they did to Tom and Anon and leaves Data Brawl. In October, Rox completely purges the Data Brawl server. Plus, Rox rejoins Data Brawl. Rox joins the Tower Heroes community and later calls both of his previous friend groups toxic despite his behavior. 2021, Rox fully leaves Data Brawl. Rox becomes a contributor for Tower Heroes. Rox draws CP. Rox draws CP of Gary, 15, with someone else. Rox would have been 18 at this time. There's almost certainly more, especially since Rox's caption for this was the sequel to Blank X Gary. June. Rox is banned from Tower Heroes. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Let me get a drink of water. Anyway, as I was saying, conclusion. To us, Rox's apology rings hollow. lying repeatedly in both videos, only apologizing for what was leaked publicly, using us as a third party to justify his actions, and only sharing his first video full of lies to his community. To this day, Rox has never shared the video directly addressing what he did to his server, and it shows. Nobody in their community grasped the severity of what they did, and it's likely because only the first video filled with lies was shown to them. With both his videos addressing this being ridiculed with lies, misinformation, and excuses, we cannot in good faith believe anything he says. We hope this document is able to more comprehensively explain what Rox did. Also, something somewhat unrelated, but I find it odd that their Jesus Christ. Their co-owner, Quell, doesn't seem to actually know what Rox did, and instead helped contribute to the narrative for what happened was just petty drama. Blush Crunch was banned after we became aware of Rox's sexual interactions with Buddy. This is where all the Quell stuff comes in. Alright, Quell. Well, I wouldn't silence the matter. That's not exactly appropriate. Anyone can be entitled to forming their own opinions on what happened, and on Rox's channel, you can find some videos that go in depth into the events that happened years ago, if interested, at Equinox. Overall, though, to my knowledge, there was a conflict that took place in the group's server with Rox years ago, and due to this, the group's owner made the decision to cut off anyone else who is simply a part of the group's of the game's group. You're completely open to play both games IMO. We have no ill will towards that group, and I hope someday they will allow it to be more accessible for their users. If you do plan to stay in our group, though, we do require it for receiving earnings from skin submissions and skin contest results, so keep that in mind. Thank you for the support, though, if you decide to stay in the group. Damn, that's a bit petty on their part. Quell. Wait, did something ever happen, or I don't know. Responding to the person, Beef, I think I've seen the video about this from announcements, but I don't remember. Unaware as to why the owner would remove a whole group from their community. Sorry. Huh, okay. No, it's okay. I was just bored and I was just finding other games to play. I understand this is all I'm really going to say since there's been no info on their side provided to us. The document was released 11 days before this. By the way, people asking questions of skins, sorry, I couldn't help much. I've been super busy. Okay. TLDR, including Chapter 4. Rox only responded to what he knew would be public, and only shared his skewed retelling of events to his community, including tons of lies. Talking about what happened with Rox was allowed in his community. Rox even admitted what he did. Oh my god, I can't fucking read! Rox even admitting he did everything the document accused him of. When Dandy's World blew up, talking about what Rox did in any way was banned and labeled as misinformation and targeted harassment, while others got banned for just stating facts. Rox mentions how nothing has come out of him doing similar stuff since then, but he only stopped after he was caught in 2 different communities doing it. We don't doubt he changed. Yeah, okay, sorry, I thought I was reading that wrong. We don't doubt he changed, but the point makes no sense as we have to be stupid to keep doing it while trying to make a career on Roblox with a community of minors. Alas, both of them have shown they favor their wallets over letting the truth get out. They would rather ignore the document knowing full well it would get buried as well. I don't know why I am having like the worst dyslexic fit of my life on this paragraph right now, and I'm so fucking sorry. I think I'm thirsty. Holy shit. Okay. As I was saying, alas, both of them have shown they favor their wallets over letting the truth get out. They would rather ignore the document knowing full well it'd get buried, as we don't have the power to widely spread it. We don't expect a response from them, but we still hope they do eventually. An update to the document can be found on the next page. Chapter 4, The Ugly, new info. Cool, alright. Oh, scheiße, okay. This is more recent information to us. But after this document was released, former friends of Rox during their Tower Heroes era had contacted us about creepy things they did, also involving minors. Great. According to people involved, almost okay, everyone was roughly 14 at the time of these screenshots, while Rox was 18. Okay, I don't. That's like a snail, I think. No, it looks worse there. It looks like a moldy sock. Someone's been using it a little too much. Slash NSFW. Wiener looking mighty scrumptious. Cock. Okay. At person, girlfriend, balls. Not girlfriend's balls, gargle. Yours. Mine? Wait, no. Who's the bottom in the situation? Hayes or Wafer? Sweet. A fellow bottom. Ew. Why are you talking about that shit with other... Why are you talking about that shit around minors? Me preparing to restrain you from telling Quell that you said Wafer's a bottom. Oh my god, fucking imagine she just replies with her little voice. Oh yeah, Wafer's totally a power bottom. I was about to go into more detail, but I restrained myself. He's probably stuffed his head in the... Oh... God, no, dude. Why did I give you the benefit of the doubt like fucking 10 minutes ago? Fuck you, guy. What is this? You can't be saying this. You can't be saying this. You don't put slash NSFW in a chat full of minors. Oh my god. Oh, but I censored it, Zombie. No, you don't do this. Oh. Okay, all right, redacted person. Sorry, I was typing my statement, but I'm suddenly forgetting everything. I'll do more formal statement. But I remember Heat 1 constantly would backtalk you guys, specifically blank and blank, and love bomb. If that is correct term, if that's the correct term, sorry. Me essentially by saying I like you. You're quieter than everyone, and that's why excuse me, and that's why I like talking to you. I love you, quote unquote, platonically. Or parentheses, platonically. I care about you. But at the same time, would scold me for stimming in VC. 2, would make unprovoked NSFW comments and even commented about my commented about my genitals once. 14, by the way. Nearly possibly 18 years old. And 3, would always vaguely vent about his friend group saying, wah, they were mean. Redacted person, I don't think I ever really spoke with him privately or anything, but I remember leaving the group chat shortly after he was like, haha, I typed this message with my dick, or at least implied it. Jesus Christ. All right, there's no images. There's no messages here because these happen in DMs, in a DM VC, but allegedly he also do anime girl moans and VC calls when it was predominantly 14 to 15-year-olds. Okay. Additionally, Quell has exclusively been talking about the document through tickets instead of giving it any attention publicly, and we would like to talk about their response here as we take issue with it. Okay, hold on, I have to zoom in. This is like... Wow. All right. Already almost 40 minutes in and got a long way to go. Quell, hello. We've had this brought to us already by some. I'm going to send you a copy of what I've told others who create a ticket on such. Hello, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We've been dealing with this situation, and it's important we clear this up. First of all, it is important to say that Rox was 17 when all this happened. The incidents with Rox messaging people occurred in 2020, and the art was made in May of 2021. Rox has already responded to all of these things nearly a year ago. These accusations have been around before Blush Crunch Studios even existed. Paige, the person affected in the document, has forgiven Rox, and Rox has spent the last 2 years learning from these decisions and moving past it, and has since never repeated these choices. This is why everything in the document is from 3 to 4 years ago. Second off, the person who created this document has a bias against Blush Crunch as a whole. Xtrell? I think I said that right. Xtrail is a dev at Data Brawl, and Data Brawl has banned everyone who is a member of Blush Crunch from their games. They are also the same people who are spreading around these old allegations, most likely to damage Rox due to our success with Dandy's World. This does not excuse what Rox did all those years ago. None of us deny that. But we think everyone deserves a second chance, and we've done everything we can to make the situation better. However, Rox is not a pedophile nor a groomer. Rox was a teenager, and those messages... He was 17. Okay, like, hold on. Sorry, Quell. You... Hold on. So, it's one thing... Wait, hold on. Do we know the birthday of dude? Because right now, 17 to 18, right? Either way, you're still drawing. You're like, drawing CP is pretty bad. Talking sexually in a group chat full of minors is pretty fucking bad. Like, I don't know if you'd stretch it to I don't know if you'd stretch it to being like a groomer. And even like the pedophilia. But that's still, that's just fucking weird, man. Like, holy shit. Talking about is like, talking about if dude, if oh my God. If people like, if they're bottoms, like, what the fuck? You don't talk about that kind of stuff with those people. With people that young. First of all, it is important to say Rox was 17 at the time. It is important to say that this was already stated in the document. Quell would rather harp on Rox's age at the time and not the age gap between him and Buddy, who was 13. And probably because it looked way worse if they tried justifying his actions there. Also, being under 18 doesn't suddenly mean you can't be a groomer. Yes, however, that statement in its own, like, the age gap does play like I think a big role. Like a 17 and a 13-year-old, like, leading up to being 18, you could you could probably make the grooming argument, but I think 17 and 15, I don't think you can. I don't know. That's just me though. Like, a 2-year age gap isn't anything too crazy, but you have like a whole 4-year age gap. Looks like a 5-year age gap. Yeah. I don't know. Quote unquote, the incidents with Rox messaging people occurred in 2020. Rox was already responded to all these nearly a year ago. Well, now there's instances of him doing this in 2021 as well. And when you say Rox responded, you mean he admitted to doing it or lied? Then yes, he did. Rox himself also admitted in his second video that the first was full. Hold on, I'm gonna zoom back out. That the first was full of lies, especially the segment on Buddy, but refused to share this video or our side to his community, and does to this day. Quote: Paige was the person affected has forgiven Rox. No, they haven't. We asked them while writing this, and they told us that they said, what they said was only after years of your apology, if you've done nothing wrong, they will forgive you. So far, both your responses come off as defenses and excuses for your actions and not as apologies where you take full accountability. Also, they weren't the only person affected. I think all I can really say is that if he shows genuine improvement over a long time, and I believe in it, then I'll forgive him for what he's done to me, at least. I can't really speak for any of you and any of the other topics, since that's not my place. But all right. So right now you haven't forgiven them yet, or as of right now, it's a no. If we go by forgiven defined as like whether I can really believe his apology is true and show he's not gonna do those things again. Okay. That's why everything in the document is from 3 to 4 years ago. The reason everything is from 3 to 4 years ago is because nobody knew about it. Rox got away with it. What happened with Buddy only became public to anyone last year. And in Rox's video, he only addressed allegations he knew were being spread around and nothing more. He was never properly held accountable for his past. Quell would rather ignore these facts and from what we can tell, excuse Rox's actions by saying it's old news, or ignoring details that are indefensible, stating, quote, it doesn't excuse it, after trying to excuse it doesn't count. Quote unquote, the person that created the document has a bias against Blush Crunch as a whole, and likely created it to sabotage the success of Dandy's World. Firstly, this has nothing to do with Blush Crunch. this is about rocks and we hold no bias against them. Secondly, okay, are we supposed to think highly of rocks while writing this? That's the point. What's the point of mentioning a potential bias? This is a complete non-point to try and discredit the document. As for Dandy's World, while it definitely did affect how frequently the document was being written, it was never about that. The document started being written 2 months ago, well before Dandy's World was even known by us. We wanted to rewrite it as Rocks had never shared our side or the truth of his community. Only his first video filled with lies and excuses. The whole point of the document is to both archive what Rocks did that has never been made public, and also to have our side out there, to have him respond without the lies, third parties, or excuses. This has been the goal from the start and hasn't changed. Oh, okay. Version history, and you can see, yeah. Okay, April, it doesn't show the date though, so, yeah, I don't know. All right, hold on, I'm gonna just, oh my god. From what we can infer, Quell and Rocks have zero intention of ever largely addressing this publicly now. Instead, Quell publicly feigned ignorance to knowing what Rocks did, but is now saying they're giving him a second chance. It's a shame to see Quell favor their success with Dandy's World over having Rocks take full accountability for his past and his lies for both his response videos. None of this would have been known if it weren't for our document. In fact, apparently someone got completely banned from their community for making a video where they simply state what's in the document. Things Rocks admit to. Whoa, wait, what? In fact, apparently hold on. Apparently someone got completely banned from their community for making a video where they simply state what's in the document. It's not a good look if you're banning people for reading this shit. If I'm trying to inform myself on this document and you ban me for trying to inform myself like that, okay, hold on. Now we got bigger fish to fry. Hold on. Things Rocks admit to with their ban reason being spread misinformation / targeted harassment. This is the video in question. 2 years ago. Oh, Duck Adam. I've heard this name before. I've heard about Duck Adam. This video in question, the closest thing to misinformation in it is them making a pedo joke in their intro. They outright state Rocks isn't a pedo later too, and not to harass them as well. You were kicked from this experience. You have been banned from this game. Reason: targeted harassment / spreading misinformation about a staff member. Y'all are defending this dude really hard. And there's a lot of evidence against him. Anyways, sorry. No, I don't know if the cut is like seamless. I got up and I went to go use the bathroom. But if you're gonna make these kind of claims, and if you're gonna defend somebody who is got a bucket load of shit on them, you gotta be prepared to like go down with the ship here. Banning people for talking about it is one thing. I don't know how true this is. I'd like to get I like to review this a bit more. I'm taking this document at kind of semi face value from what I've seen. And I was worried because people were I was like, okay, they're talking about Rocks, like they're mentioning them a lot. They're not showing evidence. And then they showed evidence and I was like, oh God, oh no, oh no. Oh, okay. Anyway, moving on. As it's insanely disingenuous that after we update the document with this info, Rocks moved the goalposts in the response from the victim in question forgave me to they chose to not forgive me, but instead make things worse, and kept saying we only create the document to damage Dandy's World when that isn't true. More info. This section will be updated with more stuff that comes out about Rocks. July 4th, 2024. A thread explaining more about Rocks drawing CP from a victim of it, and further implicating Quell to have been aware of it well before anyone else. Whoa. Furthermore, apparently after Rocks rebranded themselves and left Tower Heroes, Quell willingly befriended him again and went along with him. which is significantly worse in hindsight, knowing Quell was apparently aware of Rock's drawing CP before anyone else. The thread goes, what made it really weird is like after he rebranded himself and unfriended everyone, people realized Quell decided to friend him back again, and everyone who realized this was so fucking confused. It's even worse when she knew about the stuff, that stuff, because what in the actual fuck? Quell has also effectively denied these accusations, saying Gary lacks a large amount of proof and likely tried this approach as the combos happened in a voice call. More on the next page. But what about this? There's zero proof provided for these claims as well. I never once stated Rocks can get away. Rocks can get away with this. As for Gary's claims themselves, they lack a large amount of proof as well. Well, I'm not fully aware of what this image may be. What this image may be currently. As for how cropped it is, only showing the base background color at the top. Gary himself, to my knowledge, has publicly stated the full image will not be provided, and therefore I cannot answer this question. Here is proof of Gary's claim. Gary, according to someone on the staff team, I am, quote, a danger to the server's integrity, and that the visual evidence that I have, that shows that Jake drew CP of me is fake because, quote unquote, they didn't see the full thing, the image that I cropped for safety and integrity purposes. What the fuck? Thankfully, chat logs of that voice call exist where you can clearly tell Quell chat logs of that voice call exist where you can tell Quell knew and understands what Rox was doing was inappropriate, and combo from blank the same Tower Heroes contributor to Hilon about Rox further proves this did happen and what was said in the VC. Well, I was hoping maybe we could talk at some point. I want to vent about some stuff. Yeah, we can. I can't use mic. Yeah, you can text when you open. Whenever. Cool, 1 sec. I'm open. Okay, where you go? Just want to call here? Yeah. I've never seen it, so I cannot tell. Yeah, this is awful. They are... Oh. Oh, no. Oh, Quell. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, alright. I feel the will at one point. What? No. Ill. But who? I knew it. Gary and Blank are hated the most. Yeah, God. Okay, right. Okay, so hopefully Quell doesn't hate me for this or anything, but I was in VC with Quell, who was venting about, like, all the things with Jakers and how he's been hostile towards her recently. She came to me asking for advice on what to do and was considering telling you. Since I know Quell is fine with you, I'll just say it. Apparently Jakers made some shit on Gary and Blank, that is NSFW, when they were with Octo. I think you're supposed to redact that name, but whatever. God, dude. That sucked when I heard that. TLDR is Quell knew Rox was drawing CP of a 15-year-old when he was 18, still stuck with them, then tried to lie with they lack a large amount of proof. I want to see the full taken screenshot of this because I'm not going to say that this is forged, but this is like... well, I mean, the profile picture is exactly the same. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Alrighty. As I was continuing. Would recommend reading Gary's thread. There's more about a person named Octo Trooper, who was in Rox's friend group in 2021, and from our limited knowledge, isn't a good person either. And Rox uses this as a scapegoat to justify their actions in 2021. Okay. Read here for an update on this. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. A video by Duck Adam regarding the document, including more proof of Quell knowing Rox drew CP and that it was bad, but continuing to keep contact with him afterward. I recommend spreading this video around, as well as it's easier to digest more than a 20-plus page document, though it should be known that we did not accuse Rox of pedophilia. Quell. I'm happy Hilon found out about that stuff, to be honest. Same. I didn't want to be the one to say anything. Rox has responded, but our response to that is on the next page. It's a bit lengthy as Rox's video is too, but please read through it if you want to see our side. How long is this video? Oh, an hour long? Holy shit. Yo, my video came up. All right. Please read it if you want to see it. I'd rather read I would watch his video, but I'm not going to do it in this document. I'd be here all fucking day. I'll do it another time. I'll do it off camera. Alrighty. Rox has finally made a response to our document, something we were holding hopes would happen. Unfortunately, he went the route of not just antagonizing us, but rushing his video out instead of taking the time to review what he's saying, and like his first two responses, it's riddled with lies and manipulation. This chapter will be dedicated to responding and dissecting what Rox and Quell say in their newest response video, expected to be lengthy as there's massive issues with almost every point Rox makes. Rox's response. Okay, and they go through and they... Cool. Okay, Rox's dead cat and Hurricane Barrel. I think that's how you say that. This is guilt tripping and manipulative. Plain and simple. It's completely irrelevant to his video and is only to make his side seem sympathetic, which is definitely why he also included the news clip and showed the death toll. Him starting his video off with emotional manipulation is insane and goes to show how desperate he is to try to victimize his side while antagonizing us. In fact, he even ends his video doing the exact same thing, but instead uses the death of his pet to garner sympathy. It's disgusting to see not just the deaths of at least a dozen people used for his gain, but the death of his pet as well. In the time between the release of this new document, dealing with the harassment from users, and creating this video, my pet Chloe has passed away. The people harassing me and dealing with the situation never gave me the time to mourn her loss. Rest in peace, cat. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's kind of an unnecessary detail. Sorry your cat is not alive. Sorry your cat died, but like, I mean, okay. Quote, I'm not hiding anything. I've made multiple videos on the subject. It is against our rules. You were hiding it. Before Danny's World release, talking about the document/accusations was allowed. It was only then that discussion about it at all was cracked down on. In fact, one of the mods lying for you said, it's not a rule, we don't need it floating around anymore than it already is. You and your moderators were trying to suppress it spreading in your community. Chaos. Both docs are misinfo. Still waiting on what is misinfo. I think another mod. I got 3 toodles and a blackout when I was playing with friends. I wish I was kidding. Please don't go around spreading the documents. I didn't even link them. Sorry for causing something. I just hoped Rox was doing okay. Don't talk about them here. That's spreading it. I didn't even know that was a rule. It's not a rule. We just don't want people talking about the docs. Most devs are under a lot of pressure, and we don't need it floating around more than it already is. Okay. Your first video was the only thing shared. Is this a fucking music composer? No way. Another, like, wow, it's all, stop. I was about to say it's always the music composers. That's not true. That's not true. I don't know if this person is a music composer, but this looks like music. No fucking. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, anyway. Your first video was the only thing shared to your community, the one filled with lies and misinformation, while your other video wasn't. It's evident from both Duck Adams' video and the Wayback Machine that the second video never reached the same amount of people. If Rox actually went through both the documents, he'd know this was stated several times. It is thundering outside. I don't know if you guys heard that. Okay. Our final response. Wait, what? Okay. Pseudo, quote unquote, Pseudo called me a pedophile, which contradicts their own narrative. No, it doesn't. Pseudo had zero involvement in either document. They weren't even someone that helped peer review it. They spread it in their own server at their own volition. You do not know anything about Pseudo. You do not know anything about Pseudo or I. Quit trying to make assumptions to validate your point, especially when your DM shows Pseudo outright saying he wasn't involved. Anytime someone came to me talking about them spreading the document, I made sure they didn't call you a pedophile, as I did not believe you were one. Okay. Can't we label him a pedo now? No, pedo and groomer are different. Or at least has done pedophilic acts. I thought he drew CP as an adult, I guess. Wasn't he 18 in the community? Yeah. I still think saying pedo is a stretch. This is so weird. This is such a weird gray. Like, you could make the argument, and you could fully well say, yeah, it is. Drawing it, I is just as bad as doing what doing the nasty shit with it. Like, I don't know. That's like that's pretty pedophilic. I wouldn't say grooming. I don't know why we're saying grooming. I think it's just it's probably just like just saying pedophilic is fine. Grooming is a bit of a stretch. Well, okay, with Buddy because he was 13 years old. Oh God. Okay. All right. Anyway, Duck Adam on the allegations against Blush Crunch Studios, Dandy's World on the allegations. Person said, I think it's crazy starting up. Wait. Pseudo's response. I think it's crazy starting up what I thought you were capable of changing with time, but as time went on, more people came out with things you did, and I decided to change my stance because you crossed insane lines. As more information comes out, stances change. Simple as that. You really don't deserve to be forgiven, and my forgiveness does not speak for others, nor should you have even approached me to begin with. It's sad this is occurring on Roblox because unfortunately young people don't understand how grave the things you did are until it's too late. You should not be on a platform full of kids if you think 17 to 18 is an okay age for you to be messing with those 3 to 5 years younger than you. You say that it's behind you. Well, guess that what the stuff you did hurts your victims for life. Yeah, that last sentence is, yeah. Quote unquote, they shared screenshots showing evidence claiming this is me grooming the 13-year-old, plus the legal definition of grooming. Those aren't the only screenshots. Once again, you completely glossed over Buddy's recounting of you, despite it having its own section in this document. As for grooming, how about we talk about your definition? Yes, someone who grooms a minor for exploitation and especially for non-consensual sexual activities. Or maybe even a legal definition of grooming. When someone builds trust with a child and sometimes the adults around them to gain access to and control the child by normalizing certain behaviors and expectations. Yeah. Would you reckon what Buddy is describing would fall under that? Additionally, from the images shown what you said, it definitely looks like you were using an extremely impressionable 13-year-old as your quote-unquote buddy and outlet for your sexual fantasies and obsessions. He was obsessed with you 100%. I think he also projected it onto me. Yeah, I've already read all this. I think so. Yeah, I've read this. Read. Yeah, he read that. Cool. Also, let it be known, minors can be groomers too. He only included a definition saying adult to try and exonerate the use of the term. The mental gap between 13 and 17 is massive, and Rock seemingly ignores this in the video as well. You know, when I was 13, I liked Legos. I liked playing video games. And my biggest concern in life was if I had homework that night. When I was 17, I was like in the worst, probably depressive state in my life. Junior year of high school was fucking miserable. And that year was crazy. I don't even want to get into what happened in my life in my junior year of high school because this isn't about me. I'm not trying to make this video about me. But this right here, the mental gap between 13, yes, it is a big gap. That's a pretty huge gap. You're on the bridge to legal adulthood versus someone who is, Either A, not in high school, or B, just getting into high school. Jesus. Okay. Quote, the document creators don't show context to these screenshots or proof that they were ever sent to Buddy, implying they could be fake. You admit they were real and apologize for them, except you tried to lie until receipts were sent. We know you were sent most, if not all, the screenshots of Buddy describing their interactions with you, including the part where they describe grooming because of your second video and the nickname Buddy. The fact you're even trying to push doubt on the validity of these after you already admit to them is baffling, especially opening the idea it could have come from the myriad of DMs and servers I was in at the time. You are implying you possibly did more in other servers? The fact Rox even tries that... Hold on, somebody's... I have to decline this phone call. Okay. The fact Rox even tries this when he knows these are real and towards Buddy is disingenuous. But since he thinks showing more context would somehow change anything, here's less cropped screenshots sent to us by Buddy. Reminder, once again, Rox was 17 and Buddy was 13. Keyboard, smash his head into the keyboard. Buddy, you just substitute the name with whoever you want. So I was about to ask you, how many times have you... Okay, yeah, that's... yeah, because of today's date. National... Oh, okay. Only... Oh, damn, bro. Damn, bro. I'm about to go do funny. Okay. You know, I really get some cursed ass thoughts in my head. Did you type something? Ass thoughts? Yeah, I said. Kills you, laughs. I was about to make a joke, but nah. Okay. Juice looks like it'd be gross tasting. I don't know if I should. Let's see. Blanks. I guess that's supposed to be where Paige's name is. Something juice? No. Okay. Okay. Anyway, Jake. Kills you more, laughs, beats up, laughs hard. Okay, I'm gonna go shower, take my shower, and jerk the thing. Alright, bro. See you. To add on to this, according to Buddy, the first person to act sexually in DMs was Rox. In only an hour, Rox would escalate it to telling Buddy about he and another friend, quote, watched each other have fun. Reminder again, Rox was 17 and Buddy was 13. Wanted to ask, who was the first person to be sexual in DMs? Him. I just wanted someone, anyone, everyone. I don't even want to have, the funnies with them. I just want company. I'm inviting all 7.6 billion people to my house. Someone I can trust and love. The funnies. Funnies as in, sex. This will be the first person I share this to, but basically, I've, with a friend from the past, I've done essentially, you've had sex, question mark? No. With a friend from the past? Never. Well, sorta. Well, I don't know what you mean then. Phone sex. Sorta? What the fuck is phone sex? Basically, watch each other have fun. Oh, because, that, J-Snake, since you're online, you can't exactly connect. Yeah, as I've said. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. Okay. The old document, oddly, does not accuse me of being a groomer. The old document doesn't call you a groomer because even though people around me were using it, I myself wasn't fully aware of what it meant, and I didn't want to accuse someone of something I didn't think they were. It has nothing to do with making it more sensational. Wait, more sensational? It's also odd that he's saying allegedly after openly admitting to what happened with Buddy. Quote, the document said almost 18 rather than 17 to make it more sensational. You were 2 months, 2 weeks from being 18 in the screenshots. And in Jesus Christ. And in the ones Gary posted, you were already 18, but it seems you conveniently skipped over that. Regardless, being 17 to 18 isn't a sudden switch as whether it's okay. Oh, God. Well, okay. Being 17 to 18 isn't a sudden switch as to whether it's okay. Okay, like you seem to believe, as evident with yours and Quell's responses or replies in the ticket. Quote, I remember there specifically being 15, 16-year-olds. I don't remember it being mostly 14-year-olds, plus moaning in the VC was my attempt at humor. So you remember their ages and the context as to why you were moaning at them, but when it came Excuse me. But when it comes to more serious allegations like with Gary or Buddy, or even the statements and or who the statements are even from / their validity, your memory is suddenly hazy. There's no consistency. Additionally, the people involved here stated they were 13 to 14 at the time, which is shown both in his video and in this document. Regardless, there being someone 16 wouldn't have mattered. They were still a big handful of 13 to 14-year-olds present. Quote unquote, these messages were supposedly proof of me grooming, but weren't targeted at any person. They compare these messages with the interactions I had with Buddy. These images were shown you further acting inappropriately around children when you were nearly 18 years old. It doesn't matter whether or not they were directed at anyone. You were almost illegally an adult, and some of them were bordering not being allowed on Discord. As for this being compared to what happened with Buddy, you completely stripped that of its context. That was in regards to your copy paste ticket response, where Quill tried to say the messages are from 2020. So it was pointed out that that's not true, and it continued well into 2021. Quote unquote. According to Rocks, the document spins what happened in fighting. Says they didn't hear me out when they did, or when they didn't. Let's see here. They did hear you out. You argued your side through your friend, and they didn't want to let someone with that past in their community. You mentioned them saying people who say they've changed often don't. Like, that somehow proves your point, but that shows exactly what this document said earlier. It never said you couldn't change. They said they can't trust you have and would rather not risk it. Quote, Rocks also ignored the message under that where Ahmad said, I couldn't believe that if they did shit like that. Also, so much for anonymity. Looks like you're dragging everyone into this. Xtrail or Shetrail, I don't know. Xtrail claims that I left Pixelbit community and I was actively banned, which is ironic for the page called The Truth. Wow. Question mark. Wow. I used the wrong word once. Why is this even being brought up as some sort of gotcha moment? If you want to get needlessly nitpicky over word usage, you, Quell, and your mods haven't used shadow ban or misinformation correctly a single time. It's just a ban, and you're accusing us of disinformation, not misinfo. Though I guess you'd rather use a bigger and easier to understand words to sensationalize what happened more than to take a 5-second Google search to verify what you're saying. Quote, the document claims I did not share their side to my community. I'm doing it right now, even though you claimed I'd never make this video. Because you didn't. As mentioned earlier, you never shared that video anywhere. It was silently uploaded to your YouTube channel and only got boosted in views after the rewrite of the document and Duck Adams' video. Only your first, and now third video, was sent to Blush Crunch. This would be the first time you've linked the document in a way to your community. Once again, if you actually bothered reading either document, you would have found out that's what we're talking about. It's even in big bold text in the old document, so you cannot miss it. As for your current video, I am not only told a video was being made by your moderation. I was not only told a video wasn't being made by a moderator in your server, which was true at the time, but you yourself state you would have responded if things didn't. You wouldn't have responded if things didn't escalate. You didn't want the community to know our side. You made sure any public discussion of it would get in the way of your success. Xtrail is a biased source of information, plus Xtrail has a vendetta against me. Everyone has a bias. Obviously, someone writing a document exposing you for grooming will have some sort of bias, similar to how your mods lying on your behalf both in and out of your server is a bias towards you. Similar to how your pretty clearly angry response video where you nitpick me saying leave instead of ban is biased against us and clearly affecting your judgment. What matters is whether you show it. You scream bias and misinformation with no evidence to every ticket is a non-point to quickly discredit us, and that was our point. I think it's very weird he'd skip over me saying we hold no bias against him to lecture how having a bias is bad. But since clearly it needs to be stated again and more thoroughly, everyone has a bias. It's normal. We hold no strong bias against rocks. We have shown none in our document. Any bias we do has not been proven in a way by rocks. It's a non-point. Getting water. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Okay. What was I saying? Everyone has a bias. It's normal. We hold no strong bias against rocks, and we have shown none in our document. Any bias we have has not been proven in a way by rocks. It's a non-point. As for contacting YouTubers, you couldn't infer from my tweet I was hoping for a response that we'd finally get our side out there, and was told the best way to do this is through YouTubers. What we wanted was an apology, one without the lies, excuses, or bullshit you drenched your last 2 responses in. And my worry was that you'd either not respond at all or antagonize us further, as fully taking blame would look significantly worse on you, which, as you mentioned, both options were something you were considering and likely would have never responded if it didn't escalate. So what's your point here? Additionally, them claiming I was going on every social media to spread the document is a lie. He showed a screenshot of me commenting on TikTok, but stripped it completely out of its context. I was responding to one of your trial mods who was actively lying on other posts on your behalf. Funny, I don't think funnily is enough. Funny enough, maybe that's a typo, I don't know. After what happened on TikTok, you promoted them to, you promoted them to moderator and left out the lie they tried peddling. You're welcome. That would have been another point in this document. Both docs are misinfo. I got 3 toodles and a blackout when I was playing with friends. I wish I was kidding. Lol. Please don't go around spreading the docs. And are these TikTok comments? Are these TikTok comments? Chaos. You don't understand how many tickets he has to go through every day asking about the same document. He doesn't have the time to write a different response. Both developers are working on another response video. I'd watch it when it comes out. What's taken out of context? Well, y'all keep throwing those buzzwords around, but haven't even specified what. Those screenshots in the document made it seem like he was saying things about the 13-year-old, which is not the case. It was about someone else. That's not the fucking point. Hold on. This person right here, it doesn't matter. He wasn't talking about the 13-year-old. He was talking about these things around the 13-year-old. Like, pardon? You don't sit here and tell them, hey, how many times did you jerk off today? Because it's National Beat Your Meat Day. What the fuck? No! That is so fucking weird. That is grooming 101. You are grooming this behavior to make it seem like it is okay. That is... Come on. Let's use our brains here. Please. Okay. Chaos, again, you should ask these questions to him because he can explain them better than I can. Chaos, again, you better ask these questions to him because he can explain them better than I can. We never said nor implied anything was said about the 13-year-old. Read the big bolded text above the screenshots. Yikes. I hope Rox didn't plan to put that in the response because that was another lie. Lol. You can tell from the slightly darker blue, it's a different role. Okay. Question mark? Dragging Duncan into this and trying to compare him and Duncan's allegations. The fact Rox had to drag Duncan into this at all to defend himself speaks volumes. It was something we hoped he did, as it would have shown he has no ground to stand on. What he's trying to do here is discredit me instead of the claims against him. Which ironically, what he has isn't about me, but rather my employer. His and Duncan's situations are completely different. Yours is where you never once refuted knowing the age of anyone, likely because you knew. Have a track record of this behavior throughout 2020 and 2021, and drew CP on multiple occasions, including a legal adult. Duncan has never repeated what happened with Maya and has claimed to not know about their age, a claim that to this day has never been refuted, nor any evidence has been shown. In quotation mark, or in parentheses, it says, also small thing, but Rox saying Duncan was, quote, at least in their early 20s, feels disingenuous as an attempt to try and make Duncan seem years older than they really were, as such to make their situation seem much worse. From my knowledge, Duncan would have been 19 to 20 at the time. It's odd he even said this, or that he even said that when he clearly has no guess to how old Duncan is. Additionally, one of the documents he shared was a defense of myself as to why I don't believe he's a pedophile like Maya claims, and only has this one example as to me, quote, repeatedly defending him. I don't condone what he did. I do not excuse what he did, nor do I ignore anything in the document. It was a defense as to why I still work for him, and that's it. Also, I think it's funny you try to claim, quote, I don't care and defend bad things my friends do. And try to claim I don't care and defend bad things my friends do when we used to be friends. Maybe not close ones, but we were. Bringing Duncan in... Jesus Christ. Bringing Duncan into this does nothing to clear the accusations on Rox, nor does it remove the validity of them. Rox spends a majority of the video attempting to paint the victims on his accusers as bad people, while farming sympathy, and it's so blatant people have noticed immediately. It's pretty ironic you complain about death threats and misinformation, then peddle accusations against someone not involved that to this day have been proven with a pathetic disclaimer to not harass anyone left out the very end of your video. It's clear mentioning the death threats was purely for sympathy and not because you actually care. I'm 37 minutes in, and I feel that 33 of these minutes were exposing Data Brawl and Gary instead of actually talking about your stuff. The dev for Tower Heroes, Rox's former boss. Very disappointed to see the majority of the time in this video is spent discrediting others instead of responding to the allegations. I get it can be frustrating to see all these people come at you, but defending yourself should be at the highest I get that it can be frustrating to see all these people come at you, but defending yourself should be at the highest priority. I haven't really spoken publicly about the situation that much, but the reason I held off on banning Rox for a bit was because he had always let the Contrib team on for his time there. I wouldn't be told the full story, and aspects of it would be downplayed as to what I can only assume were a means to keep his role in the community. I'd be contacted by members of the Data Brawl community and wanted to inform me about Rox's past actions there, and be told not to listen to them by Rox. Me and the mod team were really conflicted on what to do during the time, as we were still dealing with the effects of the massive drama Octotrooper, oh my god, started after her ban and didn't want to make even more enemies, but we eventually settled on removing him from the community. As far as Quellban goes, once she moved on to Blush Crunch, she became less and less active in Pixelbit over the years. When the document came out, I was expecting there to be some sort of response, but nothing was said on it, which made it clear that the plan was to have everything fizzle out over time, which I found horrible. Adding on to that, I would see lies being spread about her, and the way the situation was being handled, and her server overall was disappointing. In VC, Quill had with Spookiner, she mentioned that she knew about the art Rox drew, quote, or in parentheses, there are screenshots of Spook telling me she had told him this that were purposefully not included in the video, yet Quill decided to still work with him. This always rubbed everyone the wrong way, and in fact, it's trying to be spun that it's not, the fact it's trying to be spun into her not knowing is wrong. Obviously, it wasn't an easy choice to ban her, as she did a handful of things for the game, but this behavior was just unacceptable. I'm at the very least glad that there was some sort of response in the end from you guys, but I wish most of it wasn't bringing people down and not telling the truth. Dude, genuinely, just take your time to reflect on everything. No, not guilt-tripping others or pulling out. Well, they're bad people too, Card. Like, bro, just fucking stop. The fact that people are getting banned for somehow mentioning the situation says a lot about both of you and anyone involved with Blush Crunch. The guilt tripping is crazy. Showing multiple people's names uncensored and following it up by guilt tripping with a hurricane is a crazy way to open up with a response. Oh god, okay. Ugh, gotta my eyes are straining. Oh my god, we're already an hour and 30 minutes in. If you're still watching the video, comment down below hot dog with an exclamation mark on the end. Random thing. Anyway. Regarding Gary, I do not remember making CP of Gary. In Rox's video, they try to say Gary lied about Rox making CP, but in the same breath admits to drawing them kissing and vaguely having sex. Regardless of what you think it is, regardless of what you're saying it is, you purposefully depicted two minors having sex and just admit to it being meant to be revenge porn, all while you were 18. Also, the fact that he has to say he's, quote, not aware of the CP, drawing CP of them, instead of flat out denying it is odd. He's using safe words in this case. He's using safe words in case it turns out he did, meaning the possibility it happened isn't ruled out in his head. Okay. Quote, Gary refers to himself in the third person to intentionally make it look like a third party was dubbing Duck Adams' video. Genuinely, what do they gain from doing this? Also, immediately after you mentioned Gary, oh my gosh, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm like losing my breath. Sorry. Genuinely, what do they gain from doing this? Also, immediately after you mentioned Gary did outright say he voiced it, but also fail to mention the description also states he voiced it. This claim makes no sense, and you even admit it in your video, so why make it? What would Gary or Duck Adam gain from doing that at all? Talking in a third person is completely normal, and it is to try to present the information more neutrally rather than as one's retelling of events or their opinions. And Gary confirmed this was their intention. Uh-oh, hold on. I have a sneeze coming up. Or I thought I had a sneeze coming up. Oh god, it's like at the back of my nose. I hate when this shit happens. Quote, Gary claims Quell was downplaying the drama, calling it petty. While Quell didn't directly call it petty, the screenshot you show directly shows Quell downplaying it and lying about knowing what happened. Quote, some conflict that happened in Data Brawl, the first document and both of Rox's videos would have already been released for a while. Data Brawl's ban a Blush Crunch. Firstly, while it states it's a ban, it isn't. People who want to play Data Brawl can simply just leave the group to play it, as stated in the kick message. We want nothing to do with anyone that supports Rox in our community, as he hurt many friends and members of ours directly. My hope was that when they get kicked, they would bring it up. They would bring it up in either our servers or figure out what happened, which is what showed us Blush Crunch pushing the narrative that this was all just petty drama. This narrative was directly caused by both Rox, Quell, and the mods they have a responsibility for. As once again, only Rox's first video had been shared to the community, and Quell was actively feigning ignorance to knowing what Rox did, while mentioning, quote, people are saying it's petty on their own. Is true, it's because they didn't know what happened in Data Brawl, so you never shared it with them. The closest it ever got was Quell mentioning you made some videos on it, and then try to downplay it in their summary immediately after. Quell. Well, I won't silence the matter. It's not exactly appropriate. Anyone can be entitled to forming their own opinion on what happened in Rox's channel. I remember reading all this. I don't know. At everyone. Hi, okay. The document was released. At everyone. Hi. Over the past month, I've been seeing people confused as to the group ban on Blush Crunch Studio and would like to clarify it here more appropriately. Warning for sexual content, creepy behavior with minors, and other gross stuff. The info in the doc at large is why Blush Crunch is banned and has been known by Rox since its release. In short, we don't really want anything to do with them or anyone that supports them. Okay. We twisted people calling the ban petty to be calling the situation petty. Once again, you're lying. This narrative was caused by you and the same moderator as earlier, the same one you promoted after they lied for you repeatedly. The screenshots outright show them downplaying the situation. Reminder that both you and Quell are responsible for these people and actively rewarded them for doing this. It's none of your concern. It's just some unnecessary drama that data. Why am I just forgetting their fucking name? Data Brawl. My bad. Sorry, guys. Sorry. It's just some unnecessary drama that Data Brawl took too hard. Yes, they do. Damn. But best to stop talking about it. It's just petty drama on Data Brawl's part. The reason why you get banned from Data Brawl while you're in Blush Crunch Studios is because Rox is hated by Data Brawl devs. Nice. That's incredibly out of context. Sorry, not out of context, more like just out of the blue. The hell did this games group do to make Data Brawl devs mad? You have been banned from this group due to the affiliation with the group Blush Crunch Studio. Please leave Blush Crunch Studio to play the game. Nothing important, they're just petty. Okay. Regarding Duck Adams ban. Rox prompts up the reason for Duck Adams ban to be essentially, quote, exposed minors recklessly to NSFW. Quote, ironic, and, quote, calling him a pedo over and over. Duck Adam had a single clip making a pedo joke, and that was it. And you can clearly see in the clip Rox played in his response. Duck Adam saying Rox isn't a pedo. Ironically, Rox actually says Duck Adam called me a pedophile over and over again. Wait, over and over again. Over and over again, but I guess saying he made a joke about it once, then clarified you weren't, wouldn't be as sensational. Watch the video. Outside of the first joke, you'll be hard-pressed to find any part where Duck Adam calls Rox a pedo, let alone over and over again. Rox blatantly lied and sensationalized it to vilify them. By the way, I'm not saying he's a pedophile, but grooming would be the correct word. Okay. Man. Duck Adam's response. I'm probably not going to make another video about Rox because I won't be uploading or streaming for the next 2 to 3 weeks, but the segment about me in the recent video is not good. Firstly, an out-of-context clip where I talk about someone who's now banned in my server trying to raid Blush Crunch, where Rox claims it's to be endorsing my viewers to do so, which simply is not true. All people shown in the video aren't in my Discord server or affiliated with me at all. As for the ban appeal they received from someone pretending to be me, that isn't me. Why would they even include it in the video? Then there is Rox getting nitpicky, I'm assuming, that my friend Gary did the voiceover of the video in third person. In a video laying out the allegations in a way that's easier to understand, it feels best that it'd be in third person to get rid of bias. As for the claims that there were no warning in my original Flavor Frenzy video, that is, guess what? Not true. There is a warning before the part about Rox in the video, and Jake completely lies about the contents of the video, saying it's just calling him a pedo over and over again, and that my ban speedrun was just saying that I don't care if I'm banned. Neither of these things are true. The ban one is kind of true, but just cyber. If you watched either of those, you'd know I didn't call him a pedophile once. I tried reaching out to Rox before the video was published, not to use it for the video, but rather to hear his side of the story and ask a few questions, which he frames as me trying to use him for content. I'm not Parlo, geez. He also shows an obvious joke comment on my video that I pinned because it's funny, but Rox claims it's me promoting harassment and threatening others, but I've gone out of my way to prevent that. The last thing I want to know is how he shows alt accounts that aren't even mine or not for playing Dandy's World. Only four of the ones he showed were actually used to play the game on the band speedruns. That's all I felt like saying about my part in this video, but I want to point out how instead of responding to the allegations, he uses sympathy bait and paints everyone who called him out in a big bad light. Bye, y'all. Whoa, okay. Oh, all right, that was a long one. Oh, my vision. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing lines in my eyes. All right, Duck Adam recklessly exposed 7,000 people, I'd imagine to be minors, without warning. While Duck Adam didn't include an explicit NSFW warning in their video, there was a warning that he was about to talk about something serious, but Rox completely cut over it. Additionally, you directly expose minors in your server to even more NSFW content than what our document has with this video just now. You even did that with your first video, when the allegations against you weren't public and were only spread to fighting. Even though your community knowing what you did is what we wanted, the hypocrisy of repeatedly deleting the document and discussion of it publicly on your server because it's NSFW and against our rules, regardless if they added a content warning or how the document itself has a content warning, then posting the video, which is even more inappropriate content in it then our document is insane. This too is extremely blatant and people have noticed. Yes, you could say have a no NSFW rule is worthless if you're not enforcing it, right? Or was it okay for you to do it again because your video was more focused on attacking us instead of responding to your allegations? Bullet point. Family friendly server. Bullet point. A no minor rules doesn't mean a thing if you aren't confirming their age. Quote, put this video, which is touching extremely 18 plus topic, and ping everyone in the community server full of children. Okay. I'm sorry, there's some irony in saying your server is family friendly than immediately posting a video featuring NSFW material in said server. You got tons of 13-year-olds in there, man. This just doesn't it. We ban Adam because he called me a pedo. We ban Adam because we called him a pedo. Show a video of a Family Guy clip, which is a obvious joke. And show him talking about you done is freaky, which is true. No NSFW warning. You put this video in a server full of children, and like you said, it's worthless if you don't age check individuals, bro. Duck Adam tried to appeal the ban. No, we didn't. Gary admitted in a live stream this was them, because they thought the idea of Duck Adam appealing would be funny. The fact he assumed it was Duck Adam in a Google survey where identities can reliably be verified and is used here still without verifying it is dumb. Maybe you would have been able to ask them if they didn't deny their friend request when they tried reaching out to you. We published Flavor Frenzy 2 years after the incident with Buddy. Just wanted to point out Rox purposefully chose one of the earliest incidents in the timeline to try and distance the time between Flavor Frenzy and the accusations. The most recent one we know of was from Gary, where in late April 2021, when Rox 18 drew revenge porn of them, 15, Flavor Frenzy would have actually been published less than a year after Rox drew that. Duck Adam ban evading is against Roblox TOS. That's for terminations of Roblox accounts, not game-specific bans. The fact you couldn't even be bothered to read all the text in your screenshot is astounding. Yeah, it talks about that, including by suspending or terminating any alternate accounts you create or have created. Okay. Man, this is only 66 pages, but this is a long-ass read. Quote, my server was raided by Duck Adam's community, and I assume Duck Adam is okay with raiding. The clip you showed was clearly... the clip you showed here clearly has him worried about the raiding. It's genuinely baffling how many times you made assumptions or claims like this, then show evidence directly contradicting you. Close response. The screenshots in no way prove that I knew about the art for months, and the messages aren't even from me. While it doesn't prove you knew about it since April specifically, it does prove you knew about it. Before anyone else in Pixelbit and knew it was inappropriate, which was Gary's point, like you said, this was the reaction of someone else toward you talking about Rox drawing porn of Gary when they were 15 and Rox was 18. Nobody tried hiding or denying the messages weren't from you. Like, why would you start a DM call then proceed to use text chat? You use wording such as, Gary's claim lacks a large amount of proof, instead of outright admitting or denying it, as though you knew it was something that might have happened or trying to hide in case that evidence doesn't exist. Screenshots were cropped in a misleading way. What was misleading about it? It was showing you clearly knew what Rox was doing, and uncropping it didn't change the context at all. Calling it misleading, then proceeding to not explain how it's misleading. Also unsure why you felt the need to drag Spookiner into this by name. Them being revealed changed nothing. Spookiner, I purposely went out of my way to make myself anonymous in DMs with Quell as I didn't want to be dragged into this situation, but in this video, my name is completely uncensored, which is upsetting. I felt obligated to make people aware of the screenshots as things were being lied about in the Blush Crunch server at the time. Me and other contributors quickly ceased supporting Rox's actions after finding out about the art from the VC with Quell, and we discussed the issue a lot with the other Pixelbit mods and eventually settled on banning him after first hearing his reasoning behind what he did. Quote, when Gary posted their thread on Twitter, I learned the same day I was shadow banned from Pixelbit. They did not tell me why. Plus, Hilon was aware of what Rox was doing, but waited to ban them. Firstly, you and Rox don't know what shadow banning is, and it goes to show that you are just using words you don't know incorrectly to sensationalize what happened. Being banned without being banned without being told the reason isn't a shadow ban. It's a normal ban, and from what people have said in your comments, you've done exactly that too. Secondly, Hilon actually commented on your video explaining why you were banned, and it was because they were waiting on a response from you addressing the situation. When it became clear to them, yours and Rox's intentions were to lie and censor discussion about the document in your community in hopes the allegations would simply go away, they banned you. Thirdly, as for Rox's ban, Hilon's comment elaborates they held off on banning Rox as he'd lead the contrib team on by downplaying what happened with him repeatedly, and the full story never being given to Hilon. A behavior that seems to be consistent with Rox from 2020 to now. Oh man. I find Rox okay, 10:30. I find Rox's views on being heard out before a ban extremely hypocritical because my friend in the server was banned without direct communication as to why. They were accused of supporting disgusting things and was banned without any discussion. If the mods did talk to them, they would have to be banned as those allegations were incorrect. Extra said, Hi. Rox made another response video, and I wanted to ask something. Do you know why Quell was banned from Tower Heroes? In their video, they claimed they were shadow banned. Hold on. I was holding out for a response from her and Jakers because they were originally hoping the situation would fizzle out. When it didn't happen, I eventually decided to demote and ban. Quell's activity in the community dwindled over the years as she moved to Blush Crush. Seeing them lie about the situation really disappointed me, and it really kind of let me know where their priorities lie. Extra. What situation with Quell though? Himlo. I mean, like the whole doc you made in the first place. Extra. Himmel. Hello. I think that's supposed to be the name. I'm saying that right. They went a while not talking about it and only talking about it in tickets. I would have people pinging me in the Pixelbit server telling me about it and how they aren't saying anything about it. Person said, I hope I would die knowing Quell is not a part of Pixelbit anymore. To be fair, I was waiting for like any sort of response or something. Hello, do you fuck with Mr. Shark? Soggy Cat? Okay, the situation is really bad, but I was kind of waiting to see their side. Helen responded, disappointed to see the majority of the time in this video spent discrediting. I think I already read this. I think I already read this. Yes, I did. Okay. Extra. All right, thank you. Also, what do you mean by Jake would lead the contrib team on? Hello said he would always downplay anything brought against him. It happened both when it came to him talking about Data Brawl stuff and Octo stuff in 2021. Conclusion to the response. Overall, Rox spent the majority of his video manipulating for sympathy, antagonizing us, deflecting onto others, lying, and both he and Quell revealed people and communities that didn't want to be dragged into this. Also, none of it is actually refuting the evidence, and that's because he admitted to the majority of it. He just hates the labels. What truly matters here is whether the people involved accept Roxy's apology, and from whom we've spoken to and what we've seen, at large the victims and old friends of Rox do not. Rox has made it clear in their newest video the victims likely won't ever truly get closure from him, and in fact he will gladly make new enemies instead of fully admitting guilt. As expected, when the document began spreading more than he attacked us and still won't address the bulk of our document, and how he lied and manipulated in both his videos. We hope nothing else needs to be said to show Rox shouldn't be trusted, because what we showed and he showed with his conduct here should make that clear. Side note, this is irrelevant, but if you're reading this, I noticed you directly acknowledge me calling your game stolen. calling me your game stolen, but still refuse to credit the people you took it from. Please consider crediting minus elevation, taking inspiration or ideas from games is fine, but taking other Roblox games concept verbatim and never crediting them anywhere is lame as hell. Paige. I think all I can really say is if he shows genuine improvement over a long time and I believe in it, then I'll forgive him. Yeah, okay, cool. Hard to remember that. Person from a... Wait. All right. Also, just want confirmation for the document, though. Do you and the others in your friend group accept Jake's apology? Nope. Person from the friend group, 13 to 14 years old. Do you accept Jaker's apology in the video? I know it's conversation we've had already, but I'm DMing the person who owns the doc. I do accept that he may have the capacity to change, but he is continuously lying and showing that he does not want to take full accountability. Another person from that group chat. Do you accept Jake's apology? No. Wanted to ask a question. This is the buddy. Sure, what is it? Do you accept Jake's apology? I didn't watch all the newest video yet, just the part that pertained to me, but I don't think there's any scenario that I would accept his apology, so no. Gary. Anyways, so far, that is genuinely all I have to say about the matter. I still don't accept his apology or whatever the attempt was. More YouTube comments. I don't know what these really pertain to, but I'll read them anyway. I'm going to be real. I don't know much about Jack Duckman and the Quell situation, but as one of the few victims that were involved with Rocks for a good chunk in Data Brawl, I genuinely do not accept his apology whatsoever. This was barely debunking your claims and bringing up sympathy points to make us feel bad. Rip to your cat, but that made me disgusted how you used them as a tool. You made my friend went through severe depressive episodes and almost caused suicide because of you. You used my friend and her body for a short-lived relationship and never apologized to her, which had a long-lasting impact on her. And you actively ran away from all of this without apologizing to their faces. In fact, you even dragged me into one of them, so I can apologize for you. I am at least glad you are getting therapy as of now, but that doesn't change the fact that you, as Jake, still hurt us. I wanted for you to change. I was also conflicted when you were outed for what you done to your ex at first when I was still young. I tried to contact you during the Pixelbit Studio server to talk as a friend, hoping you had changed. I trusted you for a long time, and seeing how you hurt people during your time at Pixelbit Studio made me have trust issues in everyone. Those toxic chains, in quotation marks, has never left you. Just get off the internet, please. Another combat. Hello, this is Randall. I'm unsure if you properly remember me or will actually see this specific comment. I'm really only writing this up because I feel if I need to say something, and I'm technically involved in this, though not to a large extent. I'm not sure how much this has to be reiterated, but can you just stop? For once, can you genuinely own up to something and reflect? All I've seen from you since you initially messed up and left has been you making up mistakes and running again. Seeing all this unfold from bird's eye view has been a tiring experience, knowing all you've done will never be put to rest because you refuse to acknowledge anything you've done for the past few years. I've tried all my power to move away from all this, dislodging my roots so I can look back at this and see it as some bad memory. But no matter what I do, it always manages to wither its way back into my life somehow. I do not wish anything upon you. I just want you to leave. So for once, me and everybody else can have some peace of mind. Would it kill you to do that? Labels don't matter here, Jake. You hurt people. People wince at just the sight of your name. There's no word for that. Post-response info. Similar to the previous more info section, this will be dedicated to new info that comes out this is July 20. I was like, that's like past today. No, it's 2 years ago. This will be dedicated to new info that comes out related to topics in this document. July 26, 2024. 2. Former moderators of Blush Crush. 1. Of which is a former friend of Rox have come forward alleging Rox has continued his inappropriate behavior around minors in late 2023 and early 2024. What they describe as inappropriate jokes Rox made towards them, love bombing, and being sexual towards them. Rox would have been 20 and the victim would be 16? Dude just hasn't changed. Yeah, guys, I've changed. Does it 3 years later? What the fuck? Okay, the next thing I remember was sometime me and another mod would play Tower Defense Simulator and he would play on his VR. He would pet us and stuff in VR. He would also be lovey too. Most of the time it would be towards me, and if I remember one time it would be three of us. It was the three of us. And the other mod was kind of silent. I don't know if that felt awkward, but usually after they left he would pet me and stuff. He would tell me stuff like I love you, that I was beautiful and a good person in a soft voice. He did things with other mods too, but it felt like he did it more to me when it was just me and him. At the time, I took it as him being sweet. Even now, I still kind of I kind of took it that way, but with everything else, it felt like this would be important to bring up. By the way, I know I'm taking a long time typing. I'm just sure I'm getting important details in. I realized it's probably super late for you. If you want, I can continue tomorrow. Oh, it's fine. How long ago and how old were you? I was 16 and he was 20. Pretty sure this was around October, November 2023, because I remember him in that mod trying to finish the Halloween event on TDS era, where we played the most, I think. I turned 17 last month. He is now 21. Buddy was a regular member in Data Brawl, and Jake would have likely been both a contributor and moderator. Pointing out what Rox did with Buddy would have also been seen a massive power imbalance. Okay. Think I'm only now realizing I felt this way now too. I met him a couple weeks before becoming a tester, then in July I became a mod. The age gap and the fact that he was my friend and boss, I don't know. I felt uncomfortable around him, and he also had some point joked inappropriately with me. I didn't really think much of it because I hear that sort of thing a lot. Not about me, I want to make that clear. He was playing Half-Life Alyx on VR. He grabbed a banana and made a penis joke. Okay. He also made an erectile dysfunction joke, and I didn't get it and had to explain what erectile dysfunction was. I'm very sheltered. Lol. Voice crack, holy shit. I'm very sheltered, lol. I don't think it was testing. I think he was just playing FF Velet Trials. Okay. Same mod. He was always in the room where it happens. I have no ill will towards him. I think he was just as confused as me. We were playing at some points. We just stopped taking it seriously, and I was kind of out of it in general. He was chasing me around in free cam mode. I was trying to hide all around the map. He always found me. At one point, he said something on the lines of, I'm just here ogling at you. What? Stare at in a lecherous manner. Okay. Big word. Lecherous. Having showing excessive or... Okay, cool. What the fuck? Ogling you? Something like that. I can't remember the specific phrasing, but I remember the word ogling, and I didn't know what it meant. I don't know a ton of words, to be honest. So when I find this, I was kind of shocked. Okay. While there's no direct evidence of this happening, as they allege, it all happened in a voice chat. Oh, okay. Well, it's just kind of whatever. If they can't, I mean, like before it was like, well, I really hope they have evidence to back this up, and then they showed evidence. But here, if there's not, it's just, oh, what happened in voice chat? Looks like there's screenshots. Hold your horses, zombie. Anyway. All that happened in voice chats. They are able to show evidence. They are both a moderator and friends with both of them. In the screenshots, you can also see Rox using us to guilt trip them, a behavior that lines up with how he acted back in 2021. Additionally, it shows Rox saying he's been nothing but receptive and honest, when at the time, the first document, as it is now, would have been released. Context. I had a profile pic from a manga series called Girl from the Other Side. Sent a picture of her for reference. He made this comment. And at this point in time, this is when the first two videos were out, and I was only a trial mod for 3 months. From all we knew, me barely, I only remember the first video, he was just a weird teen and wasn't the greatest person. I emphasized because I also wasn't the greatest when I was younger. And even then, I never did anything on the scale he did. Even from what he explained in the first video, but I put myself to his level. I should have typo. Sorry, I read that. I was like, what? Okay. I've always been a self-depreciating person and did this sort of thing a lot. He knew that too, which will come up later, which will come up again later. In this screenshot, or in this SC, I'm comforted by him. Because I always believed that people can be better, and I didn't know what I do now. I'm still sorry about it. Honestly, it felt kind of weird when he did this. Rocks. Also, I see you're wearing your profile pic. You haven't changed when we first met. You remembered. Yeah, that's something I remember from the call. That makes me happy because it reminds me of an old friend I used to have that had her little Sona that looked like that. Aw, the manga it comes from makes me happy. It's a girl from the other side. Said friend now presumably hates me like most do. I'm sorry. If you watched my video, it was the page person, so that kind of makes it hit harder. Do you want me to change my profile pic? No, you're fine. It doesn't bother me. It just makes me think back. I'm fine. Wait, hold on. I'm fine now. I've stopped caring about that group now because it's clear that they don't want anything to do with me and will do everything to keep bad faith. Even though I've been nothing but receptive and honest about my side. Question mark lol. But whatever, they're lost. I think you're good. People can forgive and forget, and some people won't. Either they're hurt or just want to keep bad faith. Ultimately, their choice. But the most important thing in these cases is just to try to be the best person you can every day, treating people with kindness and growing. Even though I'm only a newer friend, you seem like you have. I know this was kind of uncalled for and probably doesn't mean much coming from me, but yeah. I only get upset about it now. I only get upset about it now. Because of how cancel culture works, it severely limits who I can work with. But the silver lining, I guess, is if they aren't willing to hear you out, they aren't worth it in the first place. Okay. But there's always the part of me that thinks I can fix things, but that simply isn't the case. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. You will always hope and think about what ifs or if I could have fixed this. I know I thought about that with people I've hurt. The most you can do is try to apologize and grow. You have, and I see that. Even in the apology, I could see that. I'm proud. Thank you. Blank. It means a lot. I know it's going to sound cheesy, but don't keep thinking about fixing things with them or thinking you're a horrible or bad person. Because if you keep believing or thinking that you're never going to get anywhere, that's my final point. Just keep believing in yourself and pushing forward. I'm going to stop because I feel like I'm getting annoying. Rocks. That's what I've been doing. It's these people I can't push forward. Person that makes me happy. Not the second thing, lol. Mostly saying this in case I was like, for the first time, I'm sorry. Rocks, don't apologize, I get it. Can't believe the same, or can't, because I believe the same thing. Elaborating on the last paragraph, these weren't the only people to come to us essentially describing Rocks using us to guilt trip and love bombing their friends as their former friend group from 2021 alleged he did that to them as well. Furthermore, the screenshots below show credence. Yeah. Am I saying that right? Credence to the fact Rocks absolutely did not feel guilt over what happened. And that is not why they left Data Brawl, like he claims. The fact that two friend groups 3 years apart are able to collaborate the same story about Rocks when he tells he's changed since then is concerning. You can notice how differently he describes the events privately to his friends compared to the videos. Okay. Sorry, I was typing my statement, but suddenly forgot. Yeah, okay, I remember reading all this. Yep. Cool. You know, I gotta admit something. Since I met you, you got to talk with you. You've been giving me the vibe of when I first met Anon. Sweetheart, but many months later they turned on me and abandoned me. Oh? Not saying, of course, that you'll go down the same pathway, but, you know, it's just kind of funny feeling it in my gut. You're way nicer and cooler than them, though. They're like kind of one of my trauma people now. I've cried in my sleep and had so many nightmares about them. They still want me to apologize for their actions. I guess I need to provide a little context on this to the situation. So about in October last year, I was in a relationship with someone there, Tom. I did something which I'm not comfortable sharing. Okay. But I had realized this wasn't going to work between us. They dumped them for Paige. Okay. So I told them no more relationships, so as nicely and as honestly as I could. They blocked me and tell everyone in the friend group. Oh, they know already. Me talking about how someone from the server's art was nice, but they're an asshole to me. Other person in question, secret NBC, how about you start using people for newts? Public VC. Quell quickly stopped it from escalating, but God. So not only did they say something really out of context, but they twisted what really happened. Not twisted. Another thing the victim showed was proof of them being a moderator, showing them stepping down and their reasoning. They explained that they were a victim of grooming before, and they couldn't sit still and defend someone who'd rather point fingers than take accountability. Hey, I remember you said a week ago that if at any point we felt unsafe, we could leave, and I've been on the fence about it for a while. I've been on the fence about it for a long while, but admittedly, I'm way too anxious being here, so I'm stepping down as a mod and leaving the server, mostly because of everything going on. I can't pretend it hasn't been taking a toll, especially in my own experiences regarding the subjects in the doc, and even now I don't feel safe concerning it. But regardless of everything, I will never regret being a part of the community, even if it wasn't on as much as I hoped. Meeting all the wonderful people, including everyone on the mod team. I can only pray for the best going forward for you and everyone else. It has been a blessing to work with such amazing people and helping out an amazing community. Of course, that's reasonable, but please let's still be friends. You're an amazing person. Am I good to demote you right now? Can I leave one final message in chat? Just an I love you. I care about them all. No, I meant my own personal experiences because I've been groomed before. When I was younger, an older person sexted me too. I was a little younger than Buddy. Why I felt like leaving was more important because how could I, in my right mind, defend someone who didn't even take accountability in his own 40-minute video, just point fingers at others? Small bit of irony, but they also show a friend of theirs contacting Rox about his situation. They planned to make a video on the history of Tower Heroes and asked Rox about their situation, as it was a big event that happened within the community. Rox responded by saying he'd appreciate it if it was left out because it would be disrespectful to the other people involved. Rox would later involve those people and more himself for absolutely no reason in his newest response video. It's clear in retrospect, Rox only has interest in mind and only looks out for and is only looking out for Block's crush. This says, "Hey Rox, I have questions about the drama you had in the past. I know it's late to ask, but these things I question. Wait, but there's things I question for. What is it you were wondering? A little out of nowhere, aren't we? Yeah, so pretty much Redacted, also known as Redacted, is making a video that goes over the timeline of Tower Heroes, and me and Redacted figured that your dramas was a big part of it. So I was going to ask you if you were okay with it if you're okay with it for I will state in the video that you've changed and not done anything wrong in the present." Rock says, "As much as I appreciate you coming up to me to ask, I believe I would be, holy shit, I gotta zoom in. Hello? Okay, I cannot read this shit. I believe I would not be advised to cover that in that video. Not only has the situation been put to rest for many years now, specifically people who were involved, it would be disrespectful to those who went through the drama and also in poor taste. In all honesty, the drama did not have a huge impact on Tower Heroes as a whole, other than me not creating content for it anymore. So I do not see why it should be covered. Even if you say at the end that I've changed, I just don't think it's something that's necessary to the story of Tower Heroes as a game. Also, I would recommend if you add any information involving Quell, I'd ask her about it to see if she's okay or if it's okay to add in. Once again, I appreciate the approach about the question, but wouldn't put it in the video. Okay. Rox, what is this? You haven't upset me, and my judgment was less. This is in 24. My judgment was less so for my other side, but for the people who were involved, I don't believe they would want that brought up again. I also believe it wouldn't be necessary negative attention to your videos if we're looking at the worst case scenario here, and I don't think you'd want to deal with that. I was never under the assumption that you were attacking me. I understand that you and blank are coming from on terms of covering that history of Tower Heroes. But there are some things that I just don't believe should be mentioned in the video like that. If people are curious enough about the history of everything that went on, they can research it themselves. While realistically, I don't think anything too bad would come from covering it. I wouldn't take that risk. It just seems a little insensitive given the context. I no longer associate myself with Tower Hero / Pixelbit anymore, other than work I've done for it. From what the former moderator told me, they left once fully grasping the severity of what Rox had done, and I assume the other staff and Blush Crunch at large aren't fully aware either. Hopefully, more of them are willing to read through our document and hear our side and see that even in 2023 to 2024, someone they likely knew and were friends with was allegedly mistreated by Rox. Redacted person. Personally, I haven't properly educated myself on the whole thing, and I was under the impression that Rox was a changed person, and I had went with the, quote, Rox is getting a second chance route like everyone else on the staff team, until I was confronted by my friends and decided to research the whole thing since I admitted that I wasn't properly aware of everything. Once I did, I sort of just had a really horrible panic attack about it and decided to DM Quill and just leave. I left on July 7th, which was about a week before the final response came out. I know that this was most likely about Blank's testimony, but I really wanted to apologize for supporting the wrong side of this whole thing and being in the wrong about everything. I wasn't fully a part of silencing people for talking about the doc, but I was still a part of it nonetheless, and I hold a huge regret about it all, and I just wanted to give my side of things. I'm deeply sorry. Okay, let's see. July 26, 2024. Immediately after the document was updated with the information above, Rox privated all 3 of his responses and deleted the announcement from Blush Crunch. Guess now that someone came out about him still being sexually around minors. To this day, he's absolutely not trying to hide. He's covered it up now. Unfortunately for him, we have all 3 responses downloaded and will simply re-upload them if they stay private. Image below doesn't have the 3rd video, but you can see the first 2 are gone. They are in fact gone. Google has taken down this document for harassment, bullying, and threats, despite the fact that the document outright states it's not harass or attacks anyone, and they did not state what part of the 64-page document violates that. Final information, October 6th. Earlier last night, a decision was made by Rox, or was made to fire Rox from Blush Crunch. The information revealed then will be shared below. Firstly, proof Rox knew Buddy's age before the combos with him took place. Okay. Hold on. I mean, it's fine. I think we all just visit our friends. No, I don't want to say that. Well, I'm actually 13, soon to be, soon to be 14. I don't know, my mind is weird. Well, you are quite the bit younger than I thought you were. How old did you think I was? I thought you were like 15, 16. I'm 17. Just turned last month. Okay, so we know his birthday is sometime in, what is that, April? The image Gary claims existed was allegedly found where Rock's servant drew them and someone else, who were both real people and minors, 14 and 15, having sex. The context behind why this drawing might be classified as revenge porn. Good thing Gary and Blank have a healthy relationship. Blank felt Gary's tongue meet his, and they both licked Hilon's mud-covered boots in unison. Jesus Christ. Okay. There are more allegations that have yet to be revealed, and stuff I'm not entirely comfortable with sharing yet, but you can probably expect it to be mentioned in Parlo's upcoming video. I would like to thank Quell and others on Rock's side for how they handled the situation privately over the past month. They were really respectful and understanding, and I appreciate how they handled it now that more has come out. And then this document, a document by Void, a former friend of Rock's and someone I have been talking to alongside Quell for the past month regarding their experience with Rock's. Crazy fucking document. All right, 2 hours. Jesus Christ, 2 hours and almost 10 minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening along. I appreciate it. Okay. Wow. Yeah. So my question is, if they were already fired from Blush Crunch, why is this now becoming relevant? That kind of seems like, are they still affiliated with Dandy's World? Like recently, Quell has still been defending them, or they're still on the team, or they were fired and then they were rehired. I'm a little confused on that part. Because this looks like all this stuff is from 20. Yeah, all these allegations are from 2020 or 2014 or 2024. Holy shit, can't talk. Okay, yeah, but I don't know why this is becoming relevant so many years later, almost 2 years later. But we'll see. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll keep you updated. See ya.